Captain's Log Supplemental. We're investigating a subspace rift that's emitting an unusual digital signal. I've had communications decode the signal and send it to my pad, and what I found is astonishing. An alternate reality, where Starfleet, the Federation, everything I know is mere fantasy, played out for the entertainment of others. I'm watching to find out more from Earth's premier experts on what's taking place. This Will and Caleb appear to be reviewing this fictional program in chronological order. Caleb is much like myself, unfamiliar with the nature of this science fiction fantasy showcase. He's watching for the first time and is having lively conversations with Will about what's taking place. My recommendation to Starfleet Command is that we tune in and learn everything that we can about this Retrek review.
Hello, computer.
I knew I would.
You betrayed your uniform!
Target their cargo hold. Time to take out the garbage.
Smooth as an android's bottom, eh, Data?
I beg your pardon, sir. Aspires to be better than I am. Come on, it's gonna be fine. 5 years in space. God help me.
This is the best day of my life!
A phaser? You didn't use it?
Swords are fun.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Welcome back to another Retrek review, where each week we talk about Star Trek, and this week we're talking about episode 14 of season 2 of Star Trek The Next Generation, and that episode is entitled The Icarus Factor. It originally aired April 24th, 1989. It was a teleplay by David Asel and Robert McCullough, and it was a story by David Asel. It was directed by Robert Iskov. All three of those gentlemen, first time writing and directing for the series.
First and last.
First and last. I think one of them comes back, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The synopsis for the Icarus Factor is: when Commander Riker is offered command of the starship Ares, his estranged father, Kyle Riker, is sent by Starfleet to brief him on the mission. Meanwhile, Data, LaForge, Dr. Pulaski, Wesley, and O'Brien help Worf celebrate the anniversary of his rite of ascension.
Yeah, they did. And the only reason that Riker, Worf's only friend, wasn't there is because he was doing stuff with his dad.
That's right. Dad things.
Yep, dad things.
We had additional guest appearances this week. We had Colum Meaney as Miles O'Brien. Then we had Mitchell Ryan as Kyle Riker. Mitchell Ryan has been in a ton of stuff, passed away a couple years ago.
Yep. He was the lawyer in Liar, Liar.
He was the lawyer in Liar, Liar. He also is a general in Lethal Weapon. I think also one of the other big famous things he is in is...
I like your style, Reed.
Yes.
Figuratively speaking. That's the funniest thing I've heard, Reed. Yeah, he's good.
I had to make
that
sure.
That was after this, correct?
It was after this, correct? Yeah. And then the other thing that I know him from is after this too. He played in 119 episodes of Dharma and Greg as Edward Montgomery, and he playing Greg's dad.
Yeah.
So that is him. And then we had another Lance Spellerberg is back as Herbert.
As Herbert. Was he the ensign transporter guy?
He must have been.
Yeah.
So that was the introduction of the episode. But before we go on to supporters of the podcast, let's go over to Caleb and ask Caleb what he thought of the episode.
Oh, well, here's the thing, Will. No, I actually enjoyed this episode.
All right.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? It's like episode 14 of season 2.
Yep.
And like now we're just starting to flush out like characters'
Yes.
backgrounds. And it's like, oh wow, what a weird idea that is. So getting to learn more about Riker and his dad,
Yeah.
and we saw a little taste of that last week when he was talking about how his dad made him cook.
Yep.
And I thought that was just a throwaway line, but it wasn't.
Immediately not.
Yeah, so that's cool. I enjoy that. And Worf is always great. And getting to see him be like mad the first half and then get to do his
Yes.
ceremony was fun. Yeah, I enjoy that
Yeah,
Klingon stuff,
That
So
was good.
so yeah, overall, I would say this is a man. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3 this
Whoa.
week.
It was
Yeah.
inexpensive, and that's how we
Riding
would accept
high.
Yep.
Wow.
Doesn't get better than this.
We'll certainly take it.
This is the time that like all the fans hate this.
I honestly don't know. I think it sits kind of average. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
really dislikes the episode.
I don't know anymore. I think I'm just gonna go with my gut because
Yeah, you got to.
even that one time where you were like, "Oh, I actually love this episode, and this is what all episodes are like," and everybody was like, "No, Caleb's right. This episode blows."
Yeah. I don't know.
It
That
just-
one
it
just got
happens.
me. Got me just right.
Yeah,
But I'm glad. I'm glad this one was a 3. That's really cool. I always enjoy when you enjoyed it a lot
Yeah.
more than anticipated.
I think so. I think it's a 3. I enjoy a lot of it. The martial art thing is kind of neat, but I don't know really how I feel about it.
Yeah, we'll certainly tackle it.
Yeah, judo choke.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's weird because they're blindfolded.
That's right.
Future space. Woo!
Yeah. Well, before we get right into the review of the episode, let's first, right off the bat, and then we come over here and we thank Ed, Mark, Star, and Captain Elimar for their Patreon support. We appreciate them helping keep this show afloat, and we specifically appreciate Ed, Mark, Star for being an encouraging friend and helping us reach new sites. If that means no, that's a different person.
No,
We appreciate Ed, Mark, Star for passing
Finding
all of the ship's
minute
problems to
details.
a child. And being real flustered when somebody double checks his work.
It's true.
And we appreciate Captain Elimar for helping his friends move on to a better position, possibly if they want to accept it.
Did he? Did he do that?
Now, I know it's sad. I know they're there. I know Caleb and I right now could click on them. If in future time your comments are there on the previous episodes. Caleb and I are recording this off week, so we're stop reading your comments. We will comment on them, just might be delayed a week. But this is normally where we would read a Captain Elimar or an Ed Mark Star comment. We don't have any to reference this week.
Yeah. I had to take Friday off to go through all of our past 2 episode comments.
That's right. But we did have a new subscriber to the channel. And that new subscriber is Callie Ray.
Ooh.
So thanks for subscribing, Callie Ray. We appreciate it. Hopefully
Warrior.
you continue to enjoy whatever videos you wanted to continue to watch when you clicked subscribe.
When people subscribe, I just assume that they were like scrolling past our video and accidentally like held their finger on it too long.
Well, we thank everybody for their comments. We appreciate everybody sticking with us and giving us their thoughts. So until next week, when we have a little bit more to go through, let's give no more further ado and get straight into the review. So we start off. I really enjoyed the nacelle display that they open up on there. It's like showing little blips on the thing. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a cool thing. I'm sure it's been remastered. It didn't quite look like that in the old, but it looked good now.
I like how you can tell that some of those panels underneath the ship are like windows.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yes. I thought after we get the breakdown of like what's happening in engineering and all that stuff, we get that shot, kind of a cool shot of Picard in the observation lounge, and he's facing the camera and his back is towards the door, and then Riker comes in. I thought that was a cool camera decision, a cool like cinematography of like, I don't know, I just enjoyed the angle of the whole thing.
Yeah, because Riker and Data were talking.
Yes.
And then they walked over and Picard and Geordi were talking.
Yeah. And then Picard
that was cool.
like, seemingly observation lounge, buddy. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. We got people disembarking the ship.
Yeah. And then we get our second drop of Riker being offered captaincy.
Yeah.
Because in the Arsenal of Freedom, it's revealed that he passed on the USS Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Knightley is long dead.
Oh, yeah. Very dead. So we go to the transporter room. He's there to welcome on board this attaché that's going to help him with his Riker's mission, if he accepts being the captain of the Ares. And immediately it's just like, nope.
Yeah.
It's his dad, and they hate each other.
Surprise.
Yeah. They've built a near perfect society, but fathers and sons still don't like each other.
They still hate each other. And fathers always think the best way to rekindle with your son after 15 years is to just show up at his work.
Yep. Tell people around him to not tell him he's coming.
Yeah.
And then tell him he's there to make sure he does this the right way.
I have those details for your mission.
Yeah.
Also, I've been smooching your doctor. How does that make you feel? I know all the people on this ship.
I know that guy. I know that.
Really popular.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I know that after this transporter scene, like, Worf is supposed to be angry. Like, I get it. I understand that he's supposed to be upset. But I also felt like they intentionally wrote Wesley to be, like, extra annoying.
Yeah, they always do.
I know that Wesley is, like, perpetually an irritant on the show, but, like, I don't know. This was, like, the first time I was like, okay. I just was like, I kind of rolled my eyes at how I'm like, Worf! Kind of like what you were doing the other day. Dave? Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that strange, Worf? His dad's on board and he doesn't even like his dad. He doesn't even talk to his dad in 15 years. Can you remember? Can you imagine that if you didn't have your dad talking to you for 15? I never had a dad. Did you ever have a dad, Ward? Worf's like, all right, shut up. Shut up.
He's like, my father died. He's like, yeah, my father died too. And he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. Also, like, don't talk about first in command, like behind his back, like telling everybody all the stuff.
Right.
Maybe don't go around being a little gossip.
Immediately he learns from somebody that, like, his dad's on there. They're not talking to each other. I mean, really think about how that transpired.
Oh, the ensign told everybody.
Right, exactly. It was like the second he got the chance, it was like, you're not going to believe what I
As soon as they left, he went over to the Welcom and he's like, this is Ensign Transporter Chief to Wesley. Yeah, Riker's dad is here and they haven't talked in 15 years.
And Riker walked out. He was all angry.
Well, anyway, better get going.
Got to keep beaming up and beaming down these people that are debarking and coming and going.
Yeah. So, a little off topic, but why do they keep insisting that they're at a starbase when they're at a planet?
I think the starbase is down on the planet.
Okay, well, that's not a starbase then, is it, Will?
It's a planet base.
Plant base. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of them are, yeah, I don't know. They call them star bases, but then they're down on the planet. I don't know. I don't know.
Because they kept saying star base, and the whole time it was just like they're flying around this planet. And I was like, okay.
The only thing I
That's
can think of is that
another star base.
if it's like maybe it's built like a star base, but it's just on the ground. I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe the star base is the planet.
Oh,
They
I don't
built
think
the
so.
whole planet.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
It's like the Death Star.
Wow. So I know there's a part later on that you and I are both going to laugh about, but the thing that I
No.
really enjoyed was O'Brien and Riker at the table in 10 forward.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
he's like, is it women? And he doesn't say anything. He's like, oh, the promotion. And he doesn't say anything. And he kind of just looks at him and he's like, and then Riker's like, family. And he's like, oh, got it. Got it. I'm like, yeah, that's enough right there.
You can pick your friends.
Yeah.
You can pick your employment, but you can't pick your family. Yeah.
It's written in the stars or something he says, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
their interaction is good.
It's just like,
And then when he
so
kisses
smooth. Yes, yes.
when he kisses Pulaski, he's like, "Oh, apparently she knows my dad." And he's like, "Yeah, we all know Pulaski. But you don't see me kissing her." Yeah, that's true. It's a little bit more than just like, "Oh, they know each other, all friends."
Yeah, because his dad comes in, and immediately some off-screen guy is like, Kyle Riker, oh my god. And he's like, oh, and he walks over
man.
and
As I live and breathe.
Yeah, right.
Kyle! Yeah!
And he's just walking around all these background actors who are like, Kyle Riker? He's like,
Yeah.
So
Goes
goes over.
Pulaski jumps off, and she's like, "Oh my god!
Do you want to hit me across the face with a chair?
No, I can't tell whether I want to punch you or kiss you, you filthy dog."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Good stuff.
Apparently, they know how to really write men and women interacting.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
O'Brien's line was, no kidding. I know her too, but we don't do that. Oh, man, that was so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I enjoyed that. It was really funny that Geordi and Data were, when they go to the engineering, like Data and Geordi are invested in Worf's like problem, but then they're like, but we're not going to do anything about this.
Yeah.
This is your
You found the problem. You track it down and fix it.
Yeah.
And then not like 2 scenes later, they're like, I can't believe he talked us into doing this. Well, he has studies. Like, yeah, right.
Yeah, or Geordi's like, I don't know why you fell for that. Like,
yeah, it's good.
so the one like hang up I had in this whole stretch, because like whatever about the dad drama, and I don't know, I roll my eyes at the whole like Pulaski and Kyle Riker thing. Like,
yeah, of course. It's like, of course they know each other. Oh, what kind of woman would marry that piece of guy? Like, oh, I would marry him in a heartbeat. He wouldn't marry me because he loved your mom. Like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah, and it's like I don't know why does she need to be like, why does there need to be a love interest between the two of them? It's like what she ends up like telling Riker is like, I forget exactly how it transpired, but basically like I think Tholian's attacked the starbase that he was on, and then he's like the only one to survive.
Nice. And he didn't
like,
die. He refused to die, and Pulaski was like, "Now that's a man."
And I was just like, so that's your whole basis for liking the guy.
Yep.
Wanting
he refused to die. And he's like, "Oh yeah, why was that? Because he loved me or he loved my mom?" Oh no, because he was really driven like to go back to work.
Right.
He's like, yeah, exactly. So
thanks
you're not really fixing the way I feel about this.
No.
Because my problem with my dad is always that he's always put his work before me.
Yes,
so
not seeing how this works.
Well, I don't understand.
But the thing I was kind of hung up on in this sequence is he comes over and like Riker's real curt with Pulaski,
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's no secret.
Yeah. But
It's
nobody
like,
ever asked me about it.
it's like, so what's the
Why
big
would they?
deal? And I was thinking, so when Riker and Pulaski first met each other, she doesn't go, Will Riker, are you related to Kyle Riker? Or, hey, I know your dad. Like that's not what she says. Like a normal
Nope.
person.
Nope. No, I didn't keep it a secret, but you never asked me. You never said, "Hey, do you know my dad?" If you would have asked me that, I would have said, "Oh yeah, I know your dad. I would have married him." But you didn't ask me.
I was waiting to tell you that I knew your dad, but you didn't ask me.
Yeah, that's none of my business.
It's foolish.
It's pretty funny.
I also thought it was really like, okay, as a viewer, first time viewer of the show, did knowing that Pulaski has been married 3 times and subsequently, I guess, divorced or whatever, and is still
Yeah.
friends with these guys,
Yeah,
does that help her character in any way?
it does not. No, it
Found
just means that she's as insufferable as we think she is. That's all.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like maybe they're trying to insinuate that like she's so focused on her job as a doctor that like she constantly puts others and like her career and blah 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 ahead of her spouse. But it's like I don't know.
Mhm.
Like it just doesn't come across like that.
No, it doesn't. You don't need that like detail at all.
No.
I'm glad that 8,000 years from now, the cure for the flu is still chicken noodle soup, though. That's good.
Well, yeah.
There's no like hypo spray that immediately stops the symptoms. It's
No, you know exactly what it is. It's the same thing that you've complained about in the past, which is it's so far in the future that the only way we relate is if we use common things from the past, like chicken
Yeah.
noodle soup. And you're like, yeah,
but headaches are unheard of,
unheard of.
right? But you know what I usually get when I have the flu? A headache,
A
sinus
headache.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Nope.
no, that's fine. But it's just like, but that's always my point is like you write yourself into a corner by trying to like have it be related.
Yes.
It's like it
Yeah.
doesn't need to do.
No.
You don't need to like. We get it. It's the future. It's in space. You don't need to be like, hey, so remember like 8,000 years ago when we had like chicken pox? That was crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Can you believe these surgeons in the past used to use like scalpels? What a bunch of barbaric months. Although I do enjoy that, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do
And
enjoy
well,
Bones having that wall of like old surgical equipment.
well, he's just a curmudgeon, so he just likes to
Well,
point
he's
at
just
things. So the thing before we get to the terrible abbreviation of PCS, which was so stupid.
Pulaski chicken soup.
Like that doesn't
My
make
mama's catfish stew.
sense. Yeah, exactly. Mama's catfish stew, that's MCS.
Well, I don't know if I was gonna have this machine make anything. It'd be like pan-seared catfish.
So before this happens, you get Worf looking out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now Geordi and Data are like, well, we're gonna have to talk to him. And he's like, maybe he's fine. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
Data's like,
he looks pretty Worfy to me.
yeah. It's like he probably just is lonely. He needs somebody to go talk to him.
He's lonely.
Right. So Data walks over.
Look at him looking out the window, all like lonely and sad.
And Data was kind of on the mark. He was lonely, but only in the sense of Klingons.
Yeah.
But he goes over there.
Only Wesley thought about looking at like Klingon, history and stuff to understand Worf,
They're like, should we look at the cultural writings of his people? No.
No.
Let's just go approach him in 10 forward and ask him a lot of weird questions. Then it's just him turning. He's like, with all due respect, be gone, sir.
Sure. That is that's the favorite scene. So
I see.
good. It's a great scene, yeah. Yeah. What does he yell to Wesley when they're walking down the hall? Silence or what does he yell to him?
Oh yeah, what does he yell? I think he says enough, maybe, but let me know.
Enough. Yeah.
Enough.
Enough.
I don't remember.
Jeez.
Oh.
Worf is being pretty rude today. Jeez.
I guess your dad being dead too makes you sad.
Wow. I was just talking about dads and stuff. I like when Wesley's like explaining to Geordi and Data.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he just seems off. I don't know. Like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know. He's just a little off. It's like, why don't you tell him that he screamed at you? How about that? Does he usually go around the ship screaming at people? No, probably not, right? So
not too frequently.
that would be a little bit for them to be like, oh, that's not usual.
He seemed triggered when I brought up his father. He was like, oh.
I think he's sad about Riker's promotion.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he wants to be captain.
Yeah. The other thing that was kind of interesting was, and I didn't know how to feel about it at the time, but then later I was thinking about it. So you have the scene where Riker's in his room and Worf comes to him, and then he's like looking at the pictures, and he's like, you could see like Alaska and all these things, and they have like a very futuristic landscape of Alaska.
Yeah.
And he's like,
You're holding a fish.
is that on Earth? And he's like, yeah, you're holding a fish. And he's like, no, I didn't catch it. My dad caught
fish. My dad wouldn't even let me catch the fish. Stupid dad.
And then
he reeled it in, and then he made me fight in the dojo.
But I didn't really understand why.
I want to go with you.
Yeah, I was like, what are they trying to insinuate? But I think what they're trying to say is the mission that Riker is going on is so dangerous, which is what Kyle talks about, that Worf like wants to go with him because
he wants to die in battle.
Right, he wants to die in battle. So
I know. So this scene happened, and I was like, oh, so they're setting up the fact that like Worf is like bored on the Enterprise, and he's desperately wants like a chance for like just battle and yeah. But not that though.
It's not. So. No. It's two different thoughts, really. He wants to go with Riker so that he can have more battle and more danger. And also, I think in his own way, he wants to protect Riker, right? Like he doesn't want Riker to die. But then on the other angle, he's having this other issue, which isn't related to why he brings it up to Riker. I mean, yes, because it's like, I think
he wants to prove himself.
Right. But yeah, this was interesting.
Yeah, it was. At this moment, that's kind of what I thought they were setting up, that he's just bored.
Yeah, I totally
craving battle. My hands crave battle. Blood. The blood of the chosen flows through me. What is he talking about? Worf, you read all this in a book.
Yeah.
Or if you read about this through the computer, like you don't know what any of this stuff is. So funny. I'm showing you my heart.
Well, this is the halfway point. So go down to the comment section and write.
Be gone, Wesley.
Yeah, be gone. Yeah, be gone. So Pulaski and Kyle are in the thing, and they're talking about chicken noodle soup, and the guy has the flu, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And then off camera, it's like Dr. Pulaski's strongest thing is empathy, and I was like,
yeah, no, like here we go.
No,
she could care less about empathy.
I was like, that's not true.
That's what makes her a good doctor. The way she cares for all her patients.
Yeah, I was like, I would not mark that lady as having empathy.
Well,
drive. She has a lot of drive,
Yeah.
She's very intelligent, but not
Maybe her actions feel like empathy
in her mind.
to a disgusting benzenoid, whatever she is.
Yeah. Betazoid.
Betazoid. Yeah. Benzenoid.
So we had that Troy and Kyle scene. I don't know. Is this the
I don't
scene
know.
where he ends it with saying, well, we both have great taste in women? Is this that scene?
He starts off like flirting with her like that, and then as the conversation progresses, she's basically saying that he's an idiot. And then he
Right.
starts to get like mad at her about it.
Right.
And it was nice that she actually was like calling him out for being like a loser.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you tell him.
Because she was basically saying to him, yeah, you have a lot of
Yeah.
accomplishments and he has a lot of accomplishments,
Yeah.
but like,
why are you still competing with him?
right.
Like, why do you care?
I don't think that ever really gets resolved.
No, not really.
Not really, because like at the end, he's just like, I just want you to know, son, that I love you. And he's like, yep, thanks. And that's kind of it.
I'm happy you came.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird.
I think it's a classic Star Trek episode where like that's the big thing and then it has to end quickly.
yes. Oh,
And I was like, well, Riker just wanted to hear his dad say he loved him and that was it. But like the heart of the matter is that like deep down, Riker's dad thinks that he could do better than just being on the Enterprise and that he's better because he's done a lot more stuff. But he's not even in Starfleet. So like I don't understand. He just helps out Starfleet on occasion.
Yeah, right.
Starfleet is so inept that sometimes they're like, hey, civilian guy, like what should we do about this? And he's like, oh, you should fly into space for like 8 months and it'll be fine.
Like, there's a really bad asteroid field over here. Don't go over there.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I like you're saying, I liked how Troy pushed back on him, but I just remember when the scene ended and he was like, guess Will and I are not so different after all. I was like, and then he just walks out of the room. I was like,
Yeah. He's like,
what?
well, he's gonna choose to be captain. And she's like, well, how do you know that? And he's like, because I would. And she's like, yeah, but you two aren't the same. He's like, yeah, we're the same. We're the same. And then he leaves.
Right. That was like,
well, you don't even know anything about him, dude. It's been 15 years since you even talked to him.
15 years.
Yeah.
There's
a lot that can change in 15 years.
Yeah, from a 15-year-old to a 30-year-old, that's a pretty significant change.
Yeah. No, he's right.
Which I'm going to get into in a little bit too, because that made me laugh. I thought a little bit with Picard and Riker talking about his potential new first officer, Flattery, whatever his name was, Flattery, whatever Picard was pronouncing.
Well, it's a bit of an undersale, Riker. He speaks the 40 languages.
40 languages.
He speaks
Romulan,
Klingon, Romulan,
Gramian, Stolomian. It's like, okay.
Benzoniti.
Right.
Isn't that fascinating, Riker? Isn't that fascinating?
It's like, listen, Star Trek. You've shown us like 7 species. Yeah. Don't say he knows 40.
And guess what? They all speak English. So
exactly. Yeah.
Unless I'm supposed to just assume that the universal translator is always running, they all speak English. So
yeah, should always think that.
Yeah, well,
because case in point, when Riker goes over to the Klingon ship and the Klingon starts talking Klingon, he's like, "That you talk in their tongue. You don't talk like a Klingon." And it's like, but wouldn't his comm badge translate that?
Nope.
But the one thing I will say about it, I don't know if you felt this way about the 40 language thing. I kind of thought it was a nice, for us, it's sort of a callback, but technically it's a call forward to Hoshi. I was kind of thinking like somebody who has like an amazing ear and can really pick up things and like knows all these languages and stuff. I was like, it reminded me a lot of like Hoshi being second in command.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about Hoshi, yeah.
And then Wesley learns of the rite of ascension. it's been 10 years since he's had his rite of ascension.
Yeah.
I think so.
And
Let
he
me look
needs
it
to
up.
do it. He needs to do it every 10.
Let me look it up exactly what they barfed out about his thing. So, a Klingon child who has basically become a warrior. He does the first rite of ascension, and then after it is required to do the second rite of ascension in less than 10 years in order for the Klingon to fully become a warrior.
Okay.
So there's a thing I don't want to give away anything, but there's another thing that comes before what he did this time. So that's the thing that Wesley is referring to. He's had this first rite of ascension, and now he has to do it because he's going to reach the 10 mark, and that's unacceptable.
So where did he do the first one on Earth?
I would assume he did it with his father and his parents, because they don't really say how old he was when he died, but I would assume he wasn't like a baby.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I always go back to. Like, he couldn't be. For him to like hold fast to his traditions, he had to be old enough, you know.
So if we're okay, let's do some math here. Let's do some math. So 2340, that's when he was born. This episode, so he is 25 years old in this episode.
Okay.
So that would mean that if he did the first thing with his parents, that he was like 15 years old, like Riker.
So he would have done his thing before they died.
I would assume so. Yeah, he would have done the other thing, maybe even. Well, it has to be 10 years, right?
Well, it's the day of. It's the anniversary of.
Oh, that's true.
So it's 10 years exactly.
True. Well, great point. So yeah, when he had the other ritual, he was 15, 16 years old, basically. Whether that means he did it with his parents who died or not, I don't know, but that's when he had it.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. How do they know about it? That is a Klingon thing.
That's a secret thing.
That's a secret Klingon thing. Like, yeah, well, some stupid ensign figured it like, Wesley Crusher.
Kill him.
I'll kill him.
So immediately they talk about pain sticks. And all I thought about was is episode 2 of Star Wars where he's like, do you want a death stick?
Death stick? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it? Cool.
Real cool. And I was just thinking, the only thing I wished was they had Wesley or Data say, that's Hachachito, whatever, right? And then he says it, and they're like, oh, that roughly translates to pain sticks.
Yeah.
Because when they just say pain sticks, it's kind of stupid. It's kind of like...
It implies that the Klingons also call them pain sticks, which is dumb.
Right. What's that thing? That's a pain stick.
Pain stick.
Oh, you don't have any other word for it?
No, just stick. Causes pain.
It's like, this thing's called a bat list. This thing is a this and a that, and it's a this, and it's like, but that's
pointy stick. Pointy stick.
Pointy hurt stick, yeah.
Hurdy stick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know. It didn't like super bum me out, but it was lame. It was lame.
Laser stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah. Pain stick. Yeah, I know. We still have not seen any bat lifts yet. What's up with that?
No. Oh no. Can't see any of those.
No. Nobody cares about those. Wouldn't it have been cool if like that was he had to go through that and get like cut like from every bat lift, you know?
We hack off one limb. I thought the bit where Picard and Riker are talking again in the ready, I think it's the ready room, and he's talking about what would you do and blah blah blah, and then Picard's like,
it was, yeah, it's weird. It was very weird. Yeah, like it's pretty nice to be captain sometimes.
yeah.
Like, okay,
oh okay.
Okay, well, Riker's reaction to that was the same as mine. He's like,
Yes.
yeah, all right, well, I'm gonna go.
Okay. This is why we don't talk to the captain too much.
Everything up until then I enjoyed,
Yes.
him being like, hey, I can't tell you what to do, but anyway, like you would be captain, that'd be nice, but
That's pretty great.
it's a pretty awful ship that nobody cares about.
Yes.
But on this ship, you're
Yes.
first in command of the lead Starfleet ship, the Enterprise, the most notable ship in all the Federation, but you're not the captain of it. It's like, wow, he keeps giving this like two-sided, like, oh, that would be pretty cool, but I mean, it would be an awful, awful piece of junk ship with just horrible crew, but you know what? It would be yours. That'd be pretty cool, huh?
It's like, well,
What?
you could stay as first officer and continue to take my orders, or you could give your own. Yeah, it was
and
good.
then, of course, is the matter of flying off into your death,
Or you could order somebody to go. Yeah. I also enjoyed the line when we go back to engineering and O'Brien's down there and he's like,
Yeah.
he's just like there and Geordi's like, so you're not bothered by this at all? And he's like, no, why would I be bothered by this? He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, they're tearing everything apart. It's like, yeah, how about that? We send these guys down to the transporter room and take it apart. He's like, I don't care if that happens. He's like, we're in ship shape. Couldn't care less. And
Yeah.
he's like,
you kind of missed the point.
yeah, right. And he's like, it's not really that. It's the fact that they think there's something wrong. And then Data pipes in and he says this really great line, and I didn't write it all the way down.
Yeah.
He writes,
if I wasn't
he says, if I wasn't a consummate professional and an android.
and not an android, I would be quite insulted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty good. I know O'Brien is like very like smug in that scene too, because he's like, "I wouldn't bother me if they were tearing apart, the transporter, because I know there's nothing wrong with the transporter." Like, yeah, no, but if there was though, right? Like that's
like, yeah.
But if there was though,
what if there was?
What if there was though?
Yeah.
And you had to have all these Starbase people looking at it. Yeah. It also, at the end there, it makes me appreciate like Data again. He's like, yeah, that's what I suggested from the beginning.
Yes. We get to see then, now you don't know this, but we see now a new future set, Troy's office.
Oh, I didn't even catch on to that.
Yep.
Is that where he goes in to talk to her?
Yeah. That's where Riker goes and shows up and he's talking to her. And
I thought it was just her room.
No, it's her counselor's office.
Oh, wow. They gave her own office, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
For one
Maybe
scene.
you can't feel my feelings because your feelings are too much.
But
that's true. I feel sad.
Yeah.
I also feel sad. I hate goodbyes.
So I never say them.
I never say them. Until next time, yo.
I have to admit, I did enjoy the fact that they have this.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, it was like Imzadi, and then like we had a couple sprinklings throughout the last season and change. But it's kind of just been like, oh yeah, they know each other, and that's it. And you're like, oh, but aren't they supposed to have like a relationship? She calls him my beloved, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know her too, but I don't do that.
Right, exactly. So
I know. I just wish they would do something with that, relationship.
Yeah, you're gonna be wishing for a long time.
Good. It's good.
That is one of the fan things that people are just like, can't you just like literally pull the trigger? And they're like, should we pull the trigger? And then they just don't.
Nah. Everything usually goes downhill once the people get together,
I mean, yes, I agree, but
not, because like in Castle, it was like so many great seasons would end with them being like right on the verge of like getting together.
Yeah, and then right before we go into trivia, we get your favorite new thing, Anbo-jyutsu.
Anbo-jyutsu! Yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoy it. I enjoy that there's a whole deck dedicated to it.
a whole deck to it.
Whole deck. Can't just be the holodeck. It's physically built on the ship.
That's right.
Never heard about it before, never hear about it again.
Nope.
But it's there. Deck 12 is the jujitsu floor.
Anbo-jyutsu. Well, this is the interesting thing, and that is the perfect time for trivia.
Oh, not again. All right, now you're overacting.
So we're gonna make you wait for the Ambo thing. We're gonna get into some other talking.
Yeah, good. No, I love it.
Great. Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. Cool.
So the title of the episode, Icarus Factor. So Icarus was the son of Daedalus, a master craftsman in Greek mythology.
He flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, Daedalus created the means for the two of them to escape from exile, wings fashioned from wax and feathers. Daedalus cautioned Icarus not to fly too close to the sun, a warning his son ignored to fatal effect.
Yeah, just like Riker and his dad.
Interesting, right? So why the title this episode? It's like, yes, it's a father-son relationship, but who's strapping on wings? Who's flying too near the sun? Admittedly, it's a stretch. But it's certainly not the first time a Star Trek episode has attempted to elevate its subject matter by giving the title a classical reference.
Yeah. I think Riker Will was flying too close to the sun if he would have taken that promotion. Because he belongs on the Enterprise, Will. That's the whole thing.
Well, Will Riker could easily make the case that his father gave him nothing, that he got his own wings and rose through the ranks of Starfleet without getting burned.
Ooh.
But is it mere coincidence that Kyle, his long absent father, shows up at the precise moment Will is offered the opportunity to fly even higher as captain of the Ares?
It's not.
Will has always wanted his own command, even though he passed on the Drake to take the second banana position on the Enterprise. Kyle is present to brief Will on the dangerous mission he'd be taking on as captain of the Ares. So dangerous that Worf wants to go with Riker because of the potential to die a true hero. Kyle Riker feels his son will accept the transfer because it is dangerous. After all, he'd do it. We aren't so different, Will and I, he says. Ah, but they are. During the Anbo-jyutsu match, Will realizes that his father cheats and that he always cheated. According to Kyle, it was the only way to hold Will's interest and keep him coming back for more. I had to keep you challenged, Kyle explains. Will has an epiphany.
I always hated you.
Yeah. Competition is the only way Kyle knows how to interact. The death of Will's mom left him incapable of relating to others on an emotional level. That's why Kyle prefers a life of challenge and danger. That's not Will. At least, not anymore. Apparently, Kyle did give him wings. Will's ambitious desire to move up the career ladder while a young man was fueled by that old competition with Dad. It compelled Will to fly higher and higher. But in his heart, he wanted more. That's why he bypassed the Drake. On the Enterprise, Will found a sense of the family life he lacked as a boy. Seeing his father again brought that home to him. Will doesn't need to compete to obtain emotional satisfaction. Someday, he'll leave this cozy nest and stretch his wings. But the demons that drive Kyle won't drive Will. He may fly close to the sun, but never so close as to fall. Interesting.
It is interesting.
Director Robert Iskov accepted this assignment as he was a fan of the original series. He remarked, "It was an emotional piece, a character piece between two people." The father has deserted Riker for 25 years, which that doesn't seem true. Then he comes back and they have this confrontation. Well, according to Roddenberry, by the 24th century, we've all kind of resolved those feelings of anger. So it's very hard to play. If you're not going to serve the resentment and the anger, what happens once the two of them get together? You can't get into any real human drama. The original series was much more humanistic in this approach.
Yep.
Then it says, while Rick Berman and the others supported Iskov's attempts to add more emotion, they were all overruled by Roddenberry. Iskov's dissatisfaction with Roddenberry's handling of this episode led him to turn down offers to direct further Star Trek installments. He commented, "If you can't deal with the emotion, what's the point?"
Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's a good question.
And it's true. And I think that's what the point you and I were arguing about. It's like nothing really actually happens. He just tells Riker he loves him and he's like, "Thanks, Dad." And then like that's all. And it's like
That was
you don't get to the meat of an actual problem.
Yeah. No, you don't need it.
No.
That's all he wanted.
The story idea came from David Asel. The teleplay was credited to David Asel and Robert L. McCullough. McCullough said he was handed an outline of a father-son story for Riker and asked to rewrite it. He wanted there to be a confrontation and then for them to reconcile after. He used what he knew of karate philosophy to add to the fight scene in the fictional art of Anbo-jyutsu. Jonathan Frakes liked the script and appreciated being at the center of the story. At a cast read, though, of the script, Patrick Stewart made it clear he did not like the script, and according to McCullough, he said, "This is absolute crap. We can't do this." Who knows? Who knows if that's true, and who knows why he would have that reaction. Now here's the thing about Anbo-jyutsu. The fictitious sport shown in this episode involves fighting with staffs while blindfolded. In Japanese, an means dark or blind, so blindfolded, right?
Yeah.
Bo means staff.
Yeah.
And jutsu means technique or skill. So
blind bat skill.
It's dark staff skill.
Pain stick.
Yep, exactly. While it is written in the script as Anbo-jyutsu, Kyle and William Riker pronounce it as Anbo-jyutsu.
Anbo-jyutsu. And did they learn Japanese for this specifically, or
no, not at all. No.
Judo.
Yeah. So a nice meaty trivia before we get into the fifth act. So the thing that really made me laugh was I think Kyle is talking to Pulaski, and she's like, are you serious? Are you really gonna do this dumb thing with Riker? And he's like, absolutely I am. That's the only way.
I'm gonna punch my son.
And then she's like, this is so stupid. And then he's like, well, I know that he's older and I'm no spring chicken, but he's never beat me. And I was like, okay, dude. You fought like at best a 14, 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Like,
wow, you're so cool for beating up a 12-year-old. That's pretty great.
Right.
I bet you could do it again. Yeah.
It's like that's not something to brag about. And then we get to see the Klingon holodeck. That was pretty great.
I love it. Yeah.
Yep. They're all lined up and ready to go. They don't care. They're emotionless automaton holodeck Klingons.
Yeah. Are you coming in?
Yes. Yes. No. I wrote this down. It was I hated it. I hated it. The whole point is that his family is supposed to be there to help him, right? To be a part of the ritual. So I get it. Riker apparently needs to do this martial arts thing with his dad. But what's Picard doing? He's literally doing nothing. And then when Deanna brings him to the door, which was like, why? Literally have O'Brien or Pulaski or Jordy or Data or Wesley bring him to the holodeck, they're going in there. For her to
They had
get
to
to the
be
door,
there.
yeah, for her to get to the door and him being like, "Are you not going in?" And she's like, huh, "No, I don't think so." Was like,
I assume that it's because it'd be too many like feelings of pain for her to be in there, you know?
that's a good point. Yeah, okay,
That's kind of how I was leaning. Was it
okay,
just would be too much for her to like feel the emotion in there?
maybe,
But she could have changed that line to like, "Oh, I wish I could, but it's too much for me to, you know."
yeah,
And then have that be it. But she's just like, and no, this is for your friends and family.
right, right.
But then, like,
Exactly.
you know, that's why Worf's always mad. Jordy, Wesley, and Data and Pulaski are his only friends on the ship. I'd be mad too.
Yeah, all the people he wants to be his friends are not. They're like, no, I'm not going to that stupid
I'm
thing.
not going to that thing. I like how Wesley walks by and he asks O'Brien, he's like, "Hey, I'm throwing a party for Worf. Are you gonna come to it?" And he's like, "That is something I got to see."
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, all right, sounds good. It is a surprise though, so
We know what happens in the transporter room, O'Brien. Your men
yeah,
tell everybody what
yeah.
goes on, so you keep your
Don't
mouth
be don't be like the other ensign in the transport room.
shut. But then we get that
Good.
glorious, glorious Klingon sound. My enemy's bile covers my hands.
It's a great
Yeah.
it's a great scene.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I
It's
enjoy it
over
very
the top.
much.
It's over the
It's
top.
great.
It's crazy, but
Well, first of
it's
all, let
perfect.
me just tell
It's
you,
perfect.
that set design is amazing. So,
Yeah.
if we could have a Star Trek party
It
and
would
have it
just,
look like that, I mean,
yeah.
my man, that would be.
But we'd have to get paint sticks every time somebody came in. The only way to
You're late. I appreciate how they use the paint sticks in the exact same spot every single
Oh yeah.
time. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I also thought it was really stupid that I really didn't like the Pulaski Troy scene where they go in and they're like,
Mhm.
oh, blah blah blah
Hey,
blah
isn't
blah.
that interesting how we both love the same guy?
Like that's the takeaway is we're like,
Yeah.
oh, we both like Rikers. Ooh.
Oh, they're both children, and men are always children forever, and they never grow up. But I think that's why we like them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I like Rika. And oh, you also like older Rika. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I just hope they don't hurt each other
Or do
in
I?
in their entire suits made of plastic that couldn't possibly get hurt ever.
Yeah. At best, you're getting sweaty and maybe like slightly bruised, but that's about it. But speaking of that, and then we get right to it. Nothing like putting down a face shield and then swinging
It's pretty
American
good.
American Gladiator sticks at each other.
Yeah, I thought that the blindfolded part was actually a pretty
It's
interesting
it's not
add-on.
terrible. It's just like it just makes me laugh. They're using like the sensor on the end to gauge where the other one is, and then they're like, just rolling around on the thing.
Yeah, I enjoy it. As far as like a combat thing, it's interesting that like you legitimately have to like listen to your opponent,
Yes,
you know.
yes, yes, yes. Totally.
So Riker should practice with like Geordi, because Geordi would like whip him at that, you know.
True. He'd have to take off his visor though. That'd be completely cheating. You
He
probably
could
could
still
through
see
the
with
visor.
the
Yeah.
yeah. Well, so did the actors too, if we're being honest.
Sure. Why? Yeah. Yeah.
Cheating.
There was a line too that Riker says, and I was just like, "Come on!" He was like, "There, it's it, son. Release your anger." And he's like,
Release your anger.
and then he was
Let
like,
it out, son.
"You should have died instead of her." And I was like,
You
"What?
were
This
never
is..."
there for me, father.
I was like, "This is the most
Yes.
basic."
Yes, William. Use it. Use it.
What
Tell
have
me
I
everything.
done?
You must serve trial.
Yeah.
Tell me about how bad of a father I was. Yes.
Yes.
Use ya.
And then he's like, all I wanted to do, son, was tell you that I love you. And he's like, well, thanks for
Dad,
coming.
I'm glad you came. This has been nice. The other thing I kept thinking of is, because I'm a big Karate Kid fan,
Okay.
is
Put him in a body bag.
put him in a body bag. No, the other part, every time he would like knock him over, I'd be like, sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg.
And then get up to the bridge, and Picard is like going through everything, and he's trying to like, and how did this go? And how did this go? And then they're like, well, they didn't find anything, and that they suggested to do the thing that Data suggested the whole time. And then Picard's like, oh, well, isn't that just interesting? And he does like this, and then it cuts to Data, and he does the same hand gesture.
I enjoy the hand gesture. Yeah, it's just like, that's what I said from the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, what if you're wrong, Data? He's like, how dare you?
Yeah, he was kind of like, what? And then just like other episodes where you've been like, no, that's not what's going to happen.
Yep.
Riker stays.
He does, yeah. I at no point at all in this entire episode thought that Riker was going to leave the Enterprise. So I know that may be a shock to some people, but anyway, I'm Picard. I'm here on the bridge, and well, now that Riker has officially left, I think we should leave. Oh my God, Riker! What are you doing here? We're about to embark.
What the thing that I was thinking was like, I don't even know if people in the 80s were like, what?
No.
Well, Riker's gonna leave.
No.
They're like,
what? Why would he do that? No, because here's the thing too. Like in this era of television,
yeah,
there was no such thing as like, oh man, that's a crazy thing. I can't believe they got rid of the main person.
Right.
Oh,
well, that was the review of the episode. We appreciate you guys listening to us talk about it. But before we end the video, let's do the thing that everyone's been waiting for.
No, they're not gonna hold me down, 'cause I've got faith of the heart.
So, Caleb, who gets the Erica Ortegas Award for being the most unlikable?
Wesley.
Okay. Excellent.
It's easy to not like Riker's dad. You're not supposed to. It's easy to not like Pulaski because she's a pompous jerk. Wesley was overly annoying this episode, and I don't blame Worf for yelling at him. So
no, not at all.
He was unusually annoying.
He was unusually annoying. It's like it was nice that he looked up that stuff for Worf so that they could connect with him better, but like
I did like that. Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, he was just really bad in a couple scenes. Like he acted fine. It's not like Will Wheaton's fault. It's just
oh no. I'm gonna kill that sweater wearing fiend if it's the last thing I do.
Well, next is the Elizabeth Cutler Award for being the most forgettable.
I'm actually gonna say it's Picard.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. He has that one scene with Riker, and he's like, I don't know, you could do it, but it'd be really stupid, but you should do it. But it's probably stupid if he did it. Yeah. I didn't really love that scene. And other than that, he really doesn't do anything.
He pretty much just is like a facilitator of getting like lines started in a new scene. Like he just shows up and he's like, so why are we all standing here in this room? They're like, well, Captain, and then they explain what's going on.
He didn't even go to Worf's bar mitzvah, so
yes.
You know what I mean? We could have at least done that, right?
It's true.
We're so proud of you, Worf.
We love you.
We love you, Worf.
Didn't
even do that. Couldn't even be bothered.
No, he was very busy waiting for
other episodes. He just walks around the ship. This episode, he couldn't even be bothered to leave the bridge.
Nope.
Well,
next is the Mugatu Award for the best alien of the episode.
Oh, that's Worf again, as per usual.
Oh, I thought it was going to be holodeck Klingons, but yeah.
Yeah.
His eyeballs cover my body.
I traveled down the river of blood to show you my heart. There it is, my heart.
I wear their innards as a belt. Next is the Trip Tucker Award as the MVP of the episode.
You know what? I'm going to give the MVP award to Wesley, Data, and Jordy as the trio of awesome. The caravan of
Excellent.
garbage.
A caravan of garbage. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, I think the three of them made a good team, and
Yep.
I can allow that.
I can accept this.
I'll accept it.
Good. Not a bad pick. Well, next is the Spock Award for the best line of the episode.
I enjoy Data saying, "That's what I said from the beginning." I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I think like him saying, what did he say? If you don't mind.
When Data comes up to him.
Yeah. Yes.
He says, with all due respect.
With all due respect.
Be gone.
Be gone.
Sir.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's easily the best, yeah.
It's good. That's the best line. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either that or Data saying he would be offended. To me, those are the two that are pretty decent in the whole episode.
Yeah, I did like that too.
Great pick.
Thanks.
Be gone. Well, next is the Shran Award for the best action sequence.
Well, that's got to be the blind jitsu.
It's got to be, right? How is it not?
I mean, what else could it be?
My question to you is, Captain.
Or is it worth getting electrocuted over and over?
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You're gonna give it to Riker?
Yeah, I got to give it to Riker. I gave Worf enough.
Next is the NX Award for some sweet ship stuff.
You know what? I'm going to give it to, actually, there's a scene where Riker is going to go into his room and his dad is waiting for him.
Okay.
And they show the hallway. And in the hallway, there is a window for the room. And I've never seen that before. And I thought that was cool. It had this really like cool, like ornate, like trim.
Okay.
It was like a big, like oval, like tall oval. And you could tell like on the other side there was blinds.
Well, you know what? It's right down here below. Everybody's enjoying it, right?
You're looking at it. Oh, wow. Look at that window. It's probably not even a window. It's
at the door. Great. I enjoy it. I'm glad you found something that you liked.
Yeah. Great find, Caleb. Thanks, Caleb.
Okay. Excellent job, Caleb. Next is the Porthos Award for the cheesiest thing of the episode.
It's got to be Deanna and Pulaski like talking to each other.
Yes.
About like, oh, we both like the same dudes. Isn't that crazy?
We like them, but we don't.
We like them boys.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's a pretty lame scene, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't do anything for the episode. It just
no, I didn't enjoy it either.
It's pretty
cheesy. But that's okay. We didn't enjoy it. So next is the Star Trek Enterprise Award for the best scene of the episode.
It's got to be Worf going through the pain chamber.
Yeah. The rite of ascension.
The stickman. He had to go past all the pain stickmen.
Remember that line of O'Brien where he's like, I've heard that I've seen pain sticks used on quadrupeds of Clemius 4, and he's like, oh, what does that mean? And he's like, so much. I'm gonna read it. Let me just read it. I saw.
Yeah, it was too much. Really, is what it was.
It really was, but it made me.
It was like, okay, no, you haven't. First of all, and he's like,
yet.
no, I haven't. But you can imagine if I did, though, right?
He says, and they used those. And then O'Brien says, those are Klingon pain sticks. I once saw one of them used against a 2-ton ricine monopod. Poor creature jumped 5 meters at the slightest touch. Finally died from excessive cephalic pressures. You mean... That's right, the animal's head exploded like a... I think that's enough, Chief O'Brien.
Yep.
Best scene of the episode.
Yeah, that was a bit much. It was a bit heavy-handed, honestly.
Yeah. That's the same thing that you always say too, that you and I always laugh about, where they're like, well, if you haven't been to Trigomus 9, you haven't seen any ladies.
You're missing out.
You're missing out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Like, yeah, one of these pain sticks does a rapscallion beast. Like, no, I don't. But I also don't know what that is. So
Right. I have no context for either thing.
That could be, I don't know, is that a big animal? Is it a small animal? The way you're talking about it makes it sound like it's like a rhinoceros or something, like its head exploded, but I don't know. I have no idea. Last week, Riker's cooking eggs that look like chicken eggs, but they're not. But what are they? I don't know. Nobody knows.
And you never will.
And I never will. All I know is that delicious.
Delicious. They should have had eggs at the end of the thing for him.
Ceremony. Delicious.
He eats them and he's like, thank you.
Thank you. I sure hope we have these at my festival next week.
Well, that was the award ceremony, and that was Caleb's trophies for everything. We appreciate that. But now it's your turn to go down to the comment section and have your own personal award ceremony where you get to tell us who gets the popcorn award for being the best actor of the episode.
That's easy. It's
But make sure you watch Hailing Frequencies Open, our other video series, where Caleb will answer that question himself, and your suggestions can influence him.
Sometimes. I always give in to peer pressure.
Always. That's what he's known to do.
They call me peer pressure boy.
That's right.
Always giving in.
But while you're down there, why don't you take an extra second and tell us what you thought of the episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you want more of it? Or did you find that the factor of this Icarus flew a little too close to the sun?
Wow, that's good.
Let us know down below.
Next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Next week's episode is episode 15 of season 2 of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That's how old Riker was.
No, yes. And that episode is entitled Pen Pals.
Oh my god. Nice.
So we have that to look forward to.
That'll be good. It's Wesley writing with his blue friend.
Totally not a Wesley-centric episode at all.
I'm pretty sure it is. I've already seen a picture of Wesley's face on it.
We'll see. But that's what is coming next week. But as always, if you liked this review, like the video. If you disliked this review, dislike this video. Share it with all your friends and family and Trek enthusiasts. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And ring that bell so you can watch the episode as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
And then when you're done watching this episode or this video and you're tired of talking about Star Trek, you can always head on over to Caleb's channel, where he has a fun prop channel where he shows you how to make cool, fun things from pop culture. We also talk about other things like Dragon Ball Z. So if you enjoy any of that, make sure you head over there.
Everything about it is great.
He likes it. So when you're over there on his channel, find a video, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a suggestion of something for him to make. Maybe something for him and I to talk about on a podcast. I don't know.
Will saw Super Saiyan for the first time.
I did see it. The only way to know if you'll find something over there you like is to subscribe. But ultimately, you decide. We appreciate everybody doing the fun, excellent things down below. We appreciate Ed, Mark Starr, and Captain Alimar, as always, for being Patreon supporters and helping us keep this podcast going and bringing fun, interesting things to your screens. But we won't take up any more of your time, and so Caleb, send us out.
All right, everybody. With all due respect, begone, sir and madams.
Yeah.
People.
Peoples. See you guys.